I'd like to move on now to social media, because I think the FM industry has a variance of embracing of the social media networks, and I'll be interested to see what you guys think. I've just put some pointers up there, and I have some concerns about which social media platforms work for business, and I also have some concerns about what business achievements have been made from, enhancements have been made from using social media. And I know what the FMA does, and I know how we work, but I'm interested to find out what you guys do, and particularly the panel. So
I think social media offers us, again, tremendous opportunities in terms of sharing information and knowledge, and the learning facilities and opportunities that provides across the FM industry. And I don't think some of our industries, some of the people like the FMA embrace that to a large degree, but I'm not sure that companies are doing that within their organisations nearly as much as they could, and I think there's a missing opportunity there, certainly.
Well, I think it's still an evolutionary process. I think we're still on a journey from the earlier question where we were talking about mobility to the use of social media. There's still a gap. We're moving from this, as Chris says, this social occupancy of working environments where we interact with people on a face-to-face basis. And we've replaced it with a virtual world. We're all living in a virtual world now, and we're communicating by social means. And in my mind, it still leaves gaps. It's not a full replacement yet for working in an office. So it will evolve. These social tools will come and go. They will change. They will evolve. And in 10 years' time, LinkedIn or Twitter will be in a completely different form to what we know now. And whether it's plugged that gap, I hope so, because I think there are still opportunities to be had in terms of making up what we've lost with a purely face-to-face environment. So it's early days yet.
I agree pretty much with all the points. I think LinkedIn has been fantastic for the industry in allowing them to collaborate, for people to keep those associations that have built up from a business perspective over that time. But equally as well, I don't think companies have really embraced social media because they're too scared of what also can be pushed out as well. And I think unless there's governance around how we actually direct that message and that information, how we put out, which is totally against social media in its own right, then it's whether or not people are actually going to dip their toe into the marketplace. I think it's about keeping them actually quite separate, very much like Steve down the end there. Work is work. They have a message, you have a target audience. But again, let's keep the personal side personal.
I mean, I think that I think LinkedIn is a great business tool. We use it extensively at the FMA. I'm not so sure about Twitter, but that's probably an age thing. I haven't seen any business advantages come out of Twitter. And there are some people in the audience who are staring at me right now who are disagreeing with me 100%. I'm going to give her the mic in a minute so she can make her point. But I haven't seen that, and I haven't seen it from Facebook's point of view, from the business enhancements. LinkedIn, no problem, but the other two, not yet. So maybe Jeff's right. Maybe they're going to evolve into something completely different, like LinkedIn did. When it started off, it was just a social network, and then it became a good business tool. But I'm a skeptic, and we use social media a lot. So let's ask Katie King what she thinks, because she's our guru on social media.
Thank you, Chris. I think the key is in the word social. It is about people, but I completely agree. Without the governance, without the strategy in place, basically people are empowered to do things that perhaps you haven't empowered them to do. And the problem is, it's a free-for-all in many companies. People are on social media in a personal capacity, see that their company's on it, and then chip in and start adding, and that's very dangerous. So I think if you're serious as companies, you've got to A, have the strategy in place, B, have the policy in place, and C, actually guard against it and monitor it and so on. So I think if you achieve that, then you're one step in the right direction. But if you think of being at an exhibition, sponsoring, and all of the other marketing activities you do, they don't all pay off overnight. they take time, and I think social media is the same. It's building blocks. So if your Twitter talks to your LinkedIn and talks to your YouTube and is part of your PR and is part of your sponsorship and all the rest, it makes a huge difference. But if you just dip a toe in the water and send a few random tweets, then it's meaningless.
I think that out of all of them, the LinkedIn is obviously, as you've mentioned, is probably the better one, but I think that it's probably killed a little bit of the recruitment companies as well, because even though you're promoting your business, you're selling yourself as well. Even though you're meeting along the way with the contacts and you're building up from a business, it's, you know, it's a bit different to the other two, and it is a good product, but I think you're sort of putting yourself out there on behalf of your company, but at the same time putting yourself out there. You agree?
If anyone's got a business achievement that they've got through social media, please tell us.
Well, talking about facilities management, I know one independent plumber that gets 98% of his work through Twitter. Okay, so that's a good business achievement, I think, and he's increased his business, and he's actually taken on employees because he's increased his business so much over the course of the last 12 months. But I work as a service innovation company. Service is constantly extending the touch points that we have. Facilities management is about providing a service. Retail is about providing a service. Banking is about providing a service. The NHS is about providing a service. All those other industries are using social media extensively to interact socially and business-wise with their customers. And I think it's a service touch point that all organisations have to address and integrate into their holistic service design. And if you fail to do that, I bet there are lots of customers who are talking on Twitter to each other about your services. And if you're not listening to that, and if you're not integrating into how you interact with them, how you develop service recovery mechanisms, for example, then you're really going to lose out.